Signal the chimps to meet us at the rendezvous point with the superplane. Hotel Ambassador. Let's move it. Yeah. Huh?
Voila. Giraffe at 12 o'clock.
Everybody great. Let's get out of here! Hey, where's everybody going? I'm the first flying monkey!
Well played, Lion. Game on.
In a single shot. And in order to make all that move, we actually have to program that.
Oh no! Ah!
The fact that something takes place on a beach means that there's going to be footprints and there's going to be sand kicking up. There's going to be water. There's going to be sea foam. And all these things all of a sudden became, oh, how are we going to do that? As it turns out, these guys pulled it. This film needed to be really active and fun. And a lot of the influences were, of course, Tex Avery and Chuck Jones in the 30s and 40s, that they had done this animation that was very broad, very big, very comedic and slapstick.
Oh, my God! Oh! Would you give a guy a break?
But you can't just lift ideas and then put them into 3D and expect them to work. So we really started a little bit of trial and error. Let's try stretching this thing and see what happens. And then there's a lot of problems. When you have fur, it doesn't work just like a simple cartoon would work.
To really get the characters to squash and stretch and have a huge range of motion, being able to take their jaw and drop it down to their chest, that was something new for us to develop.
We would normally have limits on our characters and we would never expect to raise the arm beyond this. This film, we blew those out the door. You know, we have to be able to squish Alex down to a foot high and he's 8 feet high. We have to be able to stretch his arm out to 11 feet long.
To do that kind of work, we have to be thinking of it ahead of time so that we can set up these puppets, is sort of what they are, these virtual puppets, so that they have that kind of a flexibility. And what that then allows us to do is to really get some really fun snap and action in the animation that we hope is pushing the boundary for computer animation.
And I think it's one of the things that visually is most entertaining about the movie. They're funny.
Bringing Madagascar to the screen was a 4-year effort completed by nearly 250 artists on 2 separate production campuses in California.
Production is actually making it come to life.
Here we go. You record the actors and take these storyboards and you watch it like you would a film, even though it's just drawings one after another. From that point on, just more and more gets added to the mix. It becomes this huge collaborative process. Our artists are allowed to dream more, to imagine more, and the computer's their friend. We don't have 200 technologists who are mad scientists down somewhere trying to invent gizmos and then we figure out how to use them. It's actually the exact reverse of that. We come up with a story and we're going to need a lot of special tools to bring that to life. And that's what those 200 mad scientists went off to do.
Before the actual computer animation can begin, clay figurines and miniature models are built from sketches and paintings, so the filmmakers have a 3-dimensional perspective of the characters and locations for the movie.
I'll do what is exactly in the painting, but I get to fill in the 360 degrees what's behind it, what's on the side of it. So that's the freedom that I get, is to flesh out a lot of these environments. I did a model of the zoo, and I did a boat, and I did probably a whole forest of baobab trees. In reality, I had no idea that these things even existed, but for some reason I spent a personal, good investment of my life with them for like 5 months, studying these bizarre-looking trees.
To get the characters to move the way the animators want them to perform requires the skill of a group of character technical directors.
We're in charge of overseeing all of the creation of every character in Madagascar. We identify the technologies necessary to pull off the character's performance for the film.
Then there's also the aesthetic part of what we do. So folks here really have to have a good eye to know when, oh, this smile looks really good, this frown doesn't look good. So there's all these aesthetic skills that they really need as well.
One of the character technical directors, Penny Layton, designed a stunt tongue system which allows the character to interact with its own tongue. The first tongue gag we saw is when Alex lands on the beach. He's scraping sand out of his mouth and off his tongue. I expect we'll see the stunt tongue much more often in the future.
Once the virtual puppets have been built, it's time for the animators to have fun.
The challenge of animating these animals is not to make them appear as men walking around in suits. We want to make the zebra a zebra. He moves like a zebra. I can't say he acts like a zebra,
This place is crack-a-lackin'.
but we want him to move like a zebra.
This is the life.
They just say Grand Central Station or Cherokee Nation. Baby, we were born to be here. And I am not going HMO.
The vocal performances are important. I think you'd have a hard time making a really entertaining film if you didn't start with good vocal. For an animator, if you hear someone who doesn't understand what it means to perform for animation, you sort of have a hard time imagining what you can do with that line. When you get a great performance,
Off of me, get it off. Get it. I can't see. I can't see.
I can see the ideas will just come.
Madagascar also had the good fortune of utilizing some of the talents from other DreamWorks films, like Shrek and Shrek 2, to round out the movie's crazy cast of characters.
I saw in the Times that Donald Trump is speaking at Stony Brook. But of course we're going to throw poo at him.
Along with being one of the directors of Shrek 2, I was a plethora of voices in the movie, one being the gingerbread man. I moved from this voice here over to Madagascar, where I am doing now a role called Mason the Monkey. Mason the Monkey, which is a really bad impression of James Mason I used to do. Wake up, you filthy monkey. His tea is perfect, and he likes his paper in the morning. Bagel, cream cheese, just so, so it's that kind of a person. It's like, they're monkeys, but they're very high-class monkeys. If you have any poo, fling it now.
I don't believe how they did the water. The water.
And the animals wash ashore on the island of Madagascar. When they realize they've been dumped into the wild, it's time to panic for everybody except Marty the zebra, who gets his dream.
Marty! Hey! Hold up! Hold up! Whoa!
Here are the citified, civilized lion and a zebra and a giraffe.
Alex, Marty, Melman, and Gloria encounter wildlife much different from...
Private probably won't survive.
Who stick together, follow order. They just want to get out of the zoo. And they're this team, really there for comedy relief.
And they really are whacked. They're just nuts.
They just want to get out of the zoo. And they're this team, well-oiled machine who stick together, follow orders, get the job done.
We're gonna face extreme peril. Private probably won't survive.
Once on the island, Alex, Marty, Melman, and Gloria encounter wildlife much different from what they were used to in the Central Park Zoo.
Well, basically what's going on in Madagascar over there, we're really kind of party kind of animals. We have one main threat, which is the Fusa, and the Fusa eat us. And we happen to witness the lion scare the Fusa off. So we think, oh, well, now maybe we got some friends. So we try to befriend these guys. As we go through the story, I'm always leery of the lion, Ben Stiller. I'm just not, everybody else seems to think this guy's a great guy, but, me being the smart one, number two, I'm thinking, I don't know, guys.
What big teeth you have. Shame on you, Maurice. You do not see that you've insulted the freak?
one of our movies is meant to take our audience to someplace they've never been before. Madagascar, we know we're going to go to this amazing, world that nobody's ever, really imagined or seen before, at least not the way we've done it.
It was an out-and-out comedy. We knew that from the beginning, so that kind of gave us some ideas initially.
We really wanted to push the design. We wanted to create characters that were overly stylized, not based on reality, so that we could just have a lot of fun with how they looked and how they moved. They could be very human-like when we wanted them to.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. The main characters were designed by Craig Kelman, and he's a fantastic artist. He based his original designs off Golden Book, his old children's books, which were very simplified, straights against curves.
I was also influenced by the old Viewmasters, the old 50s Viewmaster. I thought it'd be cool to have a slick 3D movie that looked like those.
Craig put up his drawings, Jeffrey looked at him, and he said, home run.
I just kind of did a bunch of sketches, and they picked some out. They said, we like these, these 4 drawings, and they just happen to be very graphic, very two-dimensional characters, and the kind of designs that they hadn't attempted in 3D before.
Alex is really our lead character. He's very chesty with a small waist, but he also needs to be very expressive. So there's this huge, very simple mane that frames his face.
I love his look. I think his hair is incredible. I wish I had Alex's hair. I'm mesmerized by it. Whenever he shakes his head, it's like this sort of ripple effect. Kind of got like a White Snake, the band White Snake sort of feel. It's that 80s super rock thing.
The unique character designs for Madagascar also carried over into the look of the 2 worlds.
Still in New York. Aboard!
New York City and the island of Madagascar itself.
Now, it's not photorealism because that's not what we do in animation. To animate means to make bigger than life.
Strong-minded, sexy hippo. Which is nice to see a sexy hippo on film, because I don't think we've seen one for a while. It's incredibly pampered, as Alex says. There's fans, there's food, there's pampering. What more could you want?
Here come the people. Oh, I love the people. It's fun people, fun time. Woo!
I play Alex. He loves the adulation of the crowd. Did the water.
High-class monkeys.
If you have any poo, fling it now.
I couldn't believe how they did the water. The water and the fire in the film is just so realistic.
We have a lot of water on Madagascar. Quite a few sequences are either on the open ocean or on the beach. We had to design systems where we're literally hand animating the shape of the waves, and we can totally control the timing, the height. There's one sequence where Marty the zebra is actually surfing on the waves, and we had to be able to totally choreograph what the wave was doing. We have a pretty big fire sequence. The artists working on effects like that, they have to come up with a system that does fire and looks believable as fire, but that they can also control and keyframe and be very specific about how they play with it, how they choreograph it.
Progress report. It's an older code, Skipper. I can't make it out. You, higher mammal. Can you read?
No, Phil can read, though. Phil?
Ship to Kenya.